What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Uber Cold Garage. On this week's episode, we'll be doing a couple things on the Bug. As you can see behind me, the chassis is kind of underneath it, just to see how everything's lining up. So that's coming along really nice. I'm gonna kind of change focus a little bit. I need to start getting parts finished and then put away. That way they don't get messed up or dirty, and then when the car's done I can pull them back out and start putting it together. So hope you guys enjoy. Made a piece after work today. So this flange here will bolt onto the actual firewall up front. So it turned out really good. Also made a bump out for the pedals. It turned out really nice. The pedals are in the perfect spot. Have room all the way around. And then on this side, the actual master cylinders sit inside of it. So that tube for the roll cage will slide right underneath, and then on the bottom ones here there'll be a stud welded onto the actual chassis that will go through and hold all of this in place. Get the bottom bolts, that way I don't ever have to try and fit a wrench in there. But other than that, it turned out super good. Also got a piece cut for that one, so that will go in there, but this one's gonna have 2 3-inch holes in it, and then it'll kind of almost be 2 3 inches into kind of an oval shape to get that in there. And then I will also have 2 bulkhead fittings that come out for the fuel lines, and probably 1 more for the brake and clutch line, or 2 more for the brake and clutch lines. That way I can unbolt them if I ever have to, without having to rip the whole thing apart. So chassis is turning out really good. That's nice and square to the tunnel. So now from that point I can go ahead and start getting the back situated, get ready for the square tube that goes all the way across the entire back. So then that will tie in to the actual chassis, and then from there I can get the seat rails done, and then it'll be pretty close to ready for a cage. So this turned out awesome. Really like how this turned out. I'm also setting up the shifter stuff and the hydraulic e-brake. So the chassis is getting pretty close. We'll just keep moving along on this until it's ready, and then we'll set it off to the side if I don't have a cage by then, and get back to doing body panels and stuff, getting that all situated. So looking pretty good. guys, so there's the air duct that I was talking about. I'm going to tag 2 3-inch pieces of exhaust pipe, and then I'm going to kind of tag them together so then they mate into one. So those will get connected to a Nautica duct that'll be right here in the floor section underneath the fuel cell. So I have to see if I can find my chunk of exhaust pipe that I have laying around, and then I'll get those cut and formed together, and then those will get welded into that. And then I'll probably end up doing maybe a silicone 45 or something along those lines down to the Nautica duct. So that's looking pretty good. The actual chassis is starting to take shape a little bit, so it'll really start taking shape once I get some of the tubing and square tubing. So starting to look good. I'm gonna keep punching away at this, that way it's nice and ready, and set it off to the side, and then we'll move on to the next piece. Chassis is looking pretty good. We're gonna take a break for this, that way you guys don't get too bored with watching the same thing over again. I got my mirrors, but they're just a little too plain, so got them sanded with 50 grit, and we're going to wrap the base and the actual mirror and carbon real quick. And then I ordered my black paint, so here in the probably next video or the video after, we're going to be painting a lot of the small bits and pieces. Alright guys, so put the chassis back under the bug, make sure everything's lining up where it needs to be. It's looking pretty good. So you can see here the Nautica duct will just dump directly into the center tunnel. And that way you guys can get a general idea on how that's going to work. So last you saw was putting on some carbon. It did not turn out well at all, so I went ahead and pulled it back off. So I'm going to have to sand these back down, probably do some little bit of touch-up paint on them. Game plan now, I ordered some gloss black paint. I am going to clean up a little bit more in the garage, set up a paint booth. I'm going to paint some of the small bits and pieces, some of the pedal assembly, the shifter, the e-brake, and a couple other parts. Alright guys, so I set up a small paint booth in the garage. This is just a 10 by 10 canopy that I had. The top was all shredded. So just went ahead and covered the whole thing in plastic. I also put chains across with little hooks here and there, and then I have a long one there that I can open up and hang all my parts from. So should be nice and simple to paint in here. I'll wet down the floors and get everything all set up. I also took an LED and put an LED in here, so it is really bright. It's actually on the outside of the plastic, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. It makes it really bright in here. So we'll start getting parts prepped up and start painting everything black. And then as soon as all the black bits are done, then we will pull this down and start jamming back on the bug, start getting everything, all the next bits and pieces done, so then I can get those wrapped up and put away. So we'll get to paint prep. Got a bunch of the parts that I'm going to paint black in here. Got them all primed, all prepped. Start painting these black. There's still quite a bit more of parts, but that's alright. We'll get some more going after this set. Like, I'm missing the other half of my grill. I got the door handles, horn grills, splitter rods. That one there is my front tow hook, the inner headlight ring. Those bits are for the mirror. Those are for the shifter. That one right there is for the headlight. So also have my emblem and a couple more mirror parts and another tow hook part. So we'll get to painting this stuff, and then we'll prep the next set of stuff to get painted, and we should be looking pretty good from there. Alright guys, that's all I have for you this week. Last couple weeks have been super busy for work, so I haven't really been able to do anything on the bug. And of course it is super cold and raining where I'm at, so I can't quite put paint on the parts yet. I'm gonna probably pick up a heater and warm up my paint booth a little bit, and then we'll get paint on those. That way we have some finished parts, wrap them up, put them in a bin, put them on the shelf. That way we can save them for when the car is done. So we'll try and get that next episode. Still haven't sold the Gia yet, so if you guys are interested, please comment and let me know, and I will get back to you. But that's it for this one, so we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.